class we have seen about national income. In today's class we are going to see about the chapter 3. Theory of employment and income. Okay, coming to that theory of employment income, first we will see about the theory of employment. There is two terms, namely employment and unemployment. Here employment, which means he has an work to do, whereas as the name suggests, unemployment, that is unemployment, is able to work but he will not find any work to do, so it is known as unemployment. Next we will see about the types of employment. The types of employment, for a better understanding, it has been divided into two sectors, that is urban as well as rural. What are the things faced by urban sectors and then rural sectors? In urban sector, some of the unemployment features are through the means of technology, and industry, namely technology, industry, and then educational, frictional, cyclical, structural, these are some of the types of unemployment faced by urban areas. What are the students? In urban areas there are 5 types, that is technology, industry, educational, frictional, cyclical, and then structural. In technology, what is the unemployment faced by the people is that is through when the technology has been changing. Take for example the banking sector. In previous, that is before the technology came, they has been following the recording, that is manually they will record. After the technology arrives, that is the ATM, debit card, credit cards, some robots has been introduced, so that the person faces unemployment because the technology changes. Next, coming to industry. In industry, as I said, as the technology has been improved, they also follows new machinery has been came to the industry, so that there is not awareness among the people. They will leave the job alternatively, so the unemployment has been happened. Next, coming to educational sector in urban areas, which means in educational sector, the persons who has been studied more will not work for the lower prices or in an organization. So he will face some of the disadvantages in the organization, so automatically he leaves the company. Next, coming to frictional. Frictional, which means frictional unemployment, which means it is within the organization or the industry, because the person will strike towards the job, so that for the hike he will strike, and then this will lead to leave the job, so the person will face unemployment. Next, in cyclical in nature, it has been divided into two categories, that is the two means: depression and then expansion. In cyclical nature, there is two major terms. One is the depression and another one is cyclical nature. Coming to depression, when a company faces depression, many of the persons will work for more things, and then more workforce will be allotted to them, so that they will leave the jobs. Coming to expansion, when the company expand its industries or an organization, more people is required, but no one is ready to work in that organization, so that then unemployment will occur. These are some of the types of unemployment which has been faced by the urban areas. In urban areas, what are the types? A recap. One is through the means of education, and second one is we have seen about technology, and we have seen about industry, cyclical, frictional. These are the types of unemployment faced by the urban area: educational, technological, industry, cyclical, and then frictional. Next, we move on to rural areas. What are the faced by rural areas? Unemployment faced by the rural areas. In rural areas, it has been divided into two categories: chronic unemployment and seasonal unemployment. In chronic unemployment, person will be, suppose this is under the rural sector. So in chronic, the person will doing the person will only do under agriculture, or he will do any business. When he goes to urban areas, he will face some of the disadvantages, because he will not adapt to the situation. So he is going to under chronic. Example is that agriculture sector, he has only a knowledge towards one thing, that is one particular thing. If you take agriculture, he has a knowledge only in agriculture, not in industry. So it is when he goes out, he will face unemployment in that sector. Next, coming to seasonal. Seasonal, which means during take for example, during the festival times, the crackers plays a major role. After that, it will not have an production. So that person who worked there faces a unemployment problem in it. So in rural areas, what are the sectors has been unemployed is the one is chronic and another one is seasonal. These are the two types. Let's recap the types of unemployment. The types of unemployment has been divided into two categories. One is what, students? Under urban and rural. In urban, people who faces unemployment are educational, through the means of technology, and education, technology, industry, cyclical, structural, these are the things faced by the urban peoples of unemployment. Coming to rural, that is divided into two types. One is chronic and another one is seasonal. So of unemployment, first we see about what do you mean by employment and the meaning of unemployment, and these are some of the types of unemployment faced by the peoples who are residing in urban as well as in the rural areas. Next, we will see about theories. Theory. Okay, students? Theory of income. In theory of income, two persons has been deal with. One is Jean Besant and another person is Keynes. Okay, now we can see it by one by one. Coming to Jean Besant, Jean Besant is a person, he is in similar terms, according to his view, output and then your income. It may in the form of, one is production of goods and services, here supply of goods and services, supply of goods and services, here production of goods and services. Okay, students? Here, according to Jean Besant, his view is about when there is proper flow of income, that is income will be in the form of production of goods and services. When the industry properly produce the goods and services according to needs of the customers as well as satisfaction of the customers, he will know what is the thing to be produced. So there will be proper flow of income, that is monetary terms, money flow will be there. Next, the output will be satisfied by the customers. Next, when the customers has the need, he will say to the industry, so there will be supply of goods and services. Here some of the criticism is that made by him was there will be full employment has been there, and then it has money which acts as a medium of exchange of goods and services. As well as there will be proper flow of manufacturing, that is production will be in a proper flow, so that the interest rate will also be in a high or low according to the production. Interest rate will be increases or decreases according to the production purpose. Increases or decreases during the production purpose. These are some of the assumptions made by the Jean Besant, that is there will be full employment taking place. Next, money which acts as a medium of exchange, and the third one thing, the interest will be increases or decreases according to the production by the manufacturer. Next, we will see about Keynes. It will be explained in a video format. Next,
In 1936, when the world was suffering through the Great Depression, characterized by high rate of unemployment and the invisible hand of free markets seemed completely ineffective, British economist John Maynard Keynes' book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, was published. A new economic theory was provided and was given the name the Keynesian approach. It gave rise to an explicit macroeconomics as a separate discipline. It explained that unemployment can persist because wages and prices are sticky and do not adjust quickly enough to achieve equilibrium in markets. Solution was to increase effective aggregate demand. This approach dominated the macroeconomic theory and policy from World War II until about 1970. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about the simple Keynesian model, understand the aggregate expenditure and equilibrium output, learn about the multiplier. Let us understand the simple Keynesian model. The basic assumption in this model is that prices are constant and firms are willing to sell as much amount of output at the given price level. That is, Aggregate supply is perfectly elastic at the given price level. This assumption implies the availability of unemployed resources and a constant marginal product of the variable factor. Aggregate expenditure demand, that is AE, determines what is to be produced in the economy. It is defined as the total planned expenditure on domestic goods and services in one period, usually 1 year, and is given by AE is equals to C plus I plus G plus NX. In this equation, C is the consumption expenditure on goods and services by households. I is the planned investment expenditure on new capital goods such as plant, machinery, houses, etc. G is the government spending on goods and services. NX is the net exports and is the difference between exports and imports. It gives the net expenditure on domestic goods by foreigners. Aggregate expenditure defined above is planned or desired or intended and is different from the actual aggregate expenditure measured in an accounting context. Actual aggregate expenditure includes actual or realized investment and not planned investment as required for equilibrium output determination. Mathematically, actual investment, that is IA, is equals to planned investment, that is I, plus unplanned investment or unanticipated change in inventories, that is IU. When aggregate demand, the amount the people want to buy, is not equals to output produced, that is Y, there is unplanned inventory investment or disinvestment. This can be written as unplanned inventory equals output produced minus aggregate demand. When output is greater than demand, there is unplanned inventory investment, and when output is less than demand, there is unplanned inventory disinvestment. Output is at its equilibrium level when Y equals aggregate demand. The equilibrium level of income is the level of income or output at which planned spending is equals to actual output, so that there is no involuntary inventory accumulation or rundown. Let us now understand aggregate expenditure and equilibrium output. In a two-sector closed economy containing only firms and households, there is no government and therefore no taxes or subsidies. It is further assumed that firms do not retain any part of their economic profit. Under these conditions, income and disposable income will be identical. There will be no government expenditure either. Under these circumstances, aggregate demand equals C plus I, where C is the consumption demand, which increases with the level of income. The consumption function is given by the equation C is equals to small c into Y, for derivative of consumption is less than 1 and greater than 0. That is, consumption expenditure is a function of income, and an increase in income results in a similar but smaller increase in consumption expenditure, where c dash is the derivative of the function dc by dy and is called marginal propensity to consume, that is MPC. A simple linear form of consumption function is C is equals to A plus BY, where A is greater than 0 and B lies between 0 and 1. A is the intercept and represents level of consumption when income is 0, that is autonomous consumption. B is the slope of this linear function and the marginal propensity to consume, which is defined as the unit change in consumption for a unit change in income. Average propensity to consume, that is APC, is defined as the total consumption to total income and is given by APC is equals to C by Y is equals to A by Y plus B. For a proportional linear consumption function, given by consumption function, and we can say that MPC is constant as income increases, APC decreases as income increases, MPC is less than APC. Planned investment is assumed to be a function of the real rate of interest R. Hence, aggregate demand is equals to consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure, which is equals to A plus BY plus I bar. So, aggregate demand is equals to A plus BY, where A is equals to small a plus I bar and is autonomous component of aggregate expenditure, and BY is the induced component of aggregate demand which change due to the change in income levels. In diagram, we take income on x-axis and aggregate expenditure on y-axis. The slope of the AE curve is same as the consumption function. To determine the equilibrium level of income, we need to draw a 45-degree line. This line is a locus of points equidistant from both the axes. At each point on this line, output and aggregate expenditure are equal. Intersection of AE and the 45-degree line gives the equilibrium level of income where planned spending equals the value of output produced. Since planned spending is the aggregate spending or demand and output the aggregate supply, this means that in equilibrium, aggregate supply must equal aggregate demand. In the figure, E is the point of intersection and OY epsilon is the equilibrium level of income. At any point to the right of OY epsilon, value of output, that is OY1 is equals to AY1, is greater than the planned aggregate expenditure, that is BY1. There is undesired accumulation of inventories, that is IU will be greater than 0. Firms therefore reduce output as shown by arrows. At an income level OY2, which is also equals to DY2, planned aggregate demand, which is equals to CY2, is greater than the actual output produced, and hence firms are forced to run down their inventories, that is IU is less than 0, to meet the excess demand. This will cause firms to step up their production and output increases. At equilibrium, IU is equals to 0. There is an alternative formulation of the simple Keynesian model equilibrium determination in terms of saving and investment. Income is either consumed or saved in a two-sector model. So, Y is equals to C plus S and AE is equals to C plus I, and hence the equilibrium condition Y is equals to AE can be rewritten as C plus S is equals to C plus I or S is equals to I. Therefore, at equilibrium, savings equals planned investment. Let us discuss the relation between planned investment and savings. Investment curve is a straight line parallel to y-axis and saving curve intersects the investment curve at income level y epsilon. Below y epsilon, investment is greater than savings. As a result, unplanned investment increases and beyond y epsilon, savings exceed planned investment and thus unplanned inventory increases. Every time there is an injection of new demand into the circular flow, there is likely to be a multiplier effect. This is because an injection of extra income leads to more spending, which creates more income, and so on. The multiplier effect refers to the increase in final income arising from any new injection of spending. An increase in autonomous demand results in an increase in equilibrium income level. The magnitude of the increase in income is given by the multiplier. Multiplier is a number free of units. It is defined as the amount by which equilibrium output changes when autonomous demand increases by 1 unit. Keynesian economic theory contends, among other things, that any injection into the economy via investment capital, government spending, or the like will result in a proportional increase in overall income at a national level. Algebraically, multiplier alpha is written as alpha is equals to delta y by delta A. On further solving, we get delta y by delta A equals to 1 by 1 minus MPC or 1 by MPS. The magnitude of the multiplier depends upon the MPC or MPS. It varies directly with the MPC and inversely with MPS. There are, however, two limiting cases of the multiplier. One limiting case occurs when the marginal propensity to consume is equals to 1, that is, when the whole of the increment in income is consumed and nothing is saved. In this case, the size of multiplier will be equals to infinity, that is, a small increase in investment will bring about a very large increase in income and employment so that full employment is reached and even the process goes beyond that. The other limiting case occurs when marginal propensity to consume is equals to 0. That is, when nothing out of the increment in income is consumed and the whole increment in income is saved. In this case, the value of the multiplier will be equals to 1. That is, in this case, the increment in income will be equals to the original increase in investment and not a multiple of it. Every time there is an injection of new demand into the circular flow, there is likely to be a multiplier effect. This is because an increase in autonomous demand results in the rise in incomes, which in turn gives rise to further induced spending. Production increases to meet this induced expenditure, which further creates more income and more induced spending. When do these successive rounds of increased spending end? This can be explained with the help of table. Round 1 starts off with an increase in autonomous spending, that is delta A. So, income increases by the same amount in round 1. In the second round, there is an induced increase in expenditure by B times delta A, as we can see in column 2. The total increase in demand and therefore income in round 2 is delta A plus B into delta A, which is given in column 3. The increase in total expenditure and income over many rounds can be seen in the form of summation of geometric series. For the last possible round, the total change in the demand and income is given by delta AE is equals to delta Y is equals to 1 plus B square and so on into delta A, or delta Y by delta A is equals to 1 by 1 minus B. Hence proof that multiplier takes a value greater than 1. Multiplier works only if there is a permanent change in autonomous demand. It does not work for temporary changes in autonomous demand. In the table, if increase in autonomous expenditure is temporary and in round 2 delta A is equals to 0, then total change in demand over successive rounds will be equals to the change in induced spending only. As number of rounds increases, total change in income will approach 0. In equilibrium, the output produced by the firms must equal aggregate expenditure. That is, y is equals to small c bracket y bracket close plus I bracket small r bracket close. On differentiating, we get dy is equals to c dash dy plus I dash dr. On further solving, we get dy is equals to 1 by 1 minus c dash into di. Here, 1 by 1 minus c dash is the multiplier, with c dash being the marginal propensity to consume. Finally, we get y is equals to 1 by 1 minus c dash into I plus k, where k is equals to 1 by 1 minus c dash into a. Let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. The Keynesian approach explained that unemployment can persist because wages and prices are sticky and do not adjust quickly enough to achieve equilibrium in markets. The basic assumption of the simple Keynesian model is that prices are constant and firms are willing to sell as much amount of output at the given price level. That is, aggregate supply is perfectly elastic at the given price level. This assumption implies the availability of unemployed resources and a constant marginal product of the variable factor. This model is called the Keynesian cross and is a building block for the ISLM model. Aggregate expenditure demand determines what is to be produced in the economy and is given by AE is equals to C plus I plus G plus NX. Actual investment is equals to planned investment plus unplanned investment or unanticipated change in inventories. When aggregate demand is not equals to output produced, then there is unplanned inventory investment or disinvestment and is written as IU is equals to Y minus AE, where Y is equals to AE, the output is at equilibrium. Marginal propensity to consume is defined as the unit change in consumption for a unit change in income. That is, B is equals to MPC is equals to change in C divided by change in Y. Average propensity to consume is defined as the total consumption to the total income and is given by APC is equals to C by Y is equals to A by Y plus B. For a linear consumption function, MPC is constant as income increases, APC decreases as income increases, and MPC is less than APC. Planned investment is assumed to be a function of the real rate of interest, that is R, where I is equals to I, which is a function of R. Income is either consumed or saved in a two-sector model, that is Y is equals to C plus S. Multiplier is the magnitude of increase in equilibrium income level to an increase in autonomous demand. Algebraically, multiplier alpha is written as alpha is equals to change in Y by change in A. The magnitude of the multiplier depends upon MPC and MPS. Multiplier takes a value greater than 1 because 0 is less than B is less than 1. Multiplier works only if there is a permanent change in autonomous demand. It does not work for the temporary changes in autonomous demand. Khatam?
Keynes, it will be explained in a video format. Next, we will see about to ASF, ADF and ASF and determination of both ASF and ADF, that is combination. Okay, coming to ADF, which means demand flow. ADF, which means, as I said, demand flow. And the equation for that is, as I said in the national income, AD is equal to C plus I plus G X minus M. Here C stands for consumption and I stands for investment. And G stands for government policies. X and M stands for what, students? Export and import. This is the equation followed by area of, that is, C plus I plus G X minus M. Here two parties will be there. One is household and another one is the government. Right. Government as well as a firm. The household will know. Household here means a single person or an individual, and firm refers to it is for a production of goods and services, and the firm will satisfy the household, that is the income gained, wages, rent, salary has been given to the that is household. So the equation is the C plus I plus G X minus M. For better understanding, a graph has been shown. Say it is for employment. Here the curve will be in the form of like this. Because production, right? Because when a firm or an organization has an increase in production purpose, there will be more number of persons required, so there will be employment happenings. When there is decrease in work, or they will not be needed, so there will be decrease in persons, so there will be unemployment taking place. These are the graph for better understanding. Next we will see about ASF. ASF is means supply flow. The equation is that C plus S plus T plus RF. C stands for consumption, S stands for savings, T stands for transfer of funds, and I stands for interest, and F stands for transfer. Okay, students. The graph is such. This is a graph for supply flow, that is when Z stands for monetary flow, that is the monetary flow will be stable in condition or constant in nature. and the vertical line, that is the dotted lines, will be changes according to the production. It will increase or it will decrease. It is not in the hands of the manufacturer. That one is, the vertical line is what? It depends upon the production purpose. It will increase or decrease in nature. Okay, this is about supply flow. These are the things under theory of income, that is the demand flow. Let's recap from the first. First we have seen about employment, the meaning of employment, the types of employment. The types of unemployment has been divided into two categories, that is based on the areas. One is urban area and another one is the rural area. In urban area, it has been divided into unemployment has been divided into many categories like educational, technological, industry, frictional and seasonal. Next, coming to rural, seasonal unemployment is there and chronic unemployment is there. Next, we have seen about Jean Besset, about his view about income theory, and then now we seen about ASF, ADF. ASF stands for supply flow and demand flow, and their graphs also. And in the video you have seen about J.M. Keynes' views about the theory of income. Now assignment is that describe the types of unemployment, and narrate the equilibrium between ASF and ADF with diagram. These are the two assignments. Please learn and write. If any doubt arises, ask to me. Thank you.